Hi, my name's Lindy Cowling. Welcome to the channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk. My email is info@lindycowling.co.uk. And the title of the short video this evening is Why does my twin flame or soulmate or soul connection or catalyst show up in my dreams or dream time, dream state? Why does my twin flame show up in my dreams, dream time, dream state? And this applies to soulmates, catalysts, any other kind of connection you have. Why do they keep showing up or repeatedly show up in your dreams? Now, this is a question that comes up quite a lot. And as you know, this is an experiential channel, which means everything I discuss are aspects I've worked with myself professionally or personally. So the things I discuss on this channel, I have transitioned through, or I've experienced, or I'm experiencing, or I am going through those aspects with clients and dealing with it with clients. So it's a very commonly asked question, and it's a very common phenomena. And it is a phenomena that also happens to me, and it doesn't seem to make any difference as to whether you are in regular contact with a soul connection, a soulmate, a soul family, a catalyst, a twin flame, a conscious connection, whatever the category, all horses out of the same stable. Doesn't seem to matter if you're in regular contact with them or not, they still show up in dream time or in dream state. Now, you could go many weeks or many months without that happening, and suddenly there'll be an intense lot of dreams, one after another, with that particular individual or individuals cropping up. Now, the first thing to take note of if you're having this is those dreams things from the past? If they are dreams with that connection to do with past things that have happened and you're literally reliving it or remembering it, the clue there or the cue there is to look at what's coming up for you. So if you're revisiting something from your history with that person, is to actually have a look at what's coming up for you, whether you're revisiting history with them in this life, or if you're revisiting, shall we say, history with them in another life. And so the first thing to do would be to look at what is coming up for you and why. What are you trying to process in your subconscious and in your dream time there? What's coming through, we call it bleed throughs, what's bleeding through there from other timelines or maybe past lives, or what's going on. The second thing to notice is if it's not a memory, let's say from a past memory or reliving something, are you in present time, a dream state with them? Now, this is an interesting one. Are you interacting with them in present time, in present, not from a memory, but present, actually in present time? So actively having a dream where you are having active discussions, or you're working things through, or there's some energetic thing going on, not related to talking, but there's energetics going on. So they are kind of two different things, because if you're interacting with them in present time, in the present moment, that is a kind of an active kind of energy flow going backwards and forwards between the two of you there. That really needs, again, to be looked at what is happening in present time and what is happening in those conversations. Now, you could say to me, well, I wake up in the morning and then I can remember they were in my dream, but I can't remember what I was dreaming about. If you can remember, or if it wakes you up in the night, you could just quickly jot it down so that in the morning you do remember. But if it's something like, if it's something quite relevant and quite prevalent, then the dream, you probably won't just have the one dream, it will keep coming up. And there'll be there might be one theme to it, or there might be a few themes to it. So I'll give you an example. You might be fast asleep, having not thought of your soul connection, twin flame, catalyst for many weeks, many months, or a few years, or not thought of them very much, or, you know, kind of put that behind you. And then you have a sequence of dreams in which they keep cropping up in those dreams, talking to you, interacting with you. You might actually get some dialogue from the dream, and they might be telling you that they're completely lost and really pleased to see you and talk to you again, for example. Now, that is more, let's say, present day, relevant to the energetics running between you. Of course, I must be very grounded and anchored about this as well, and say to you that sometimes your own yearning, even if it's a deep yearning or subconscious desire to be in dialogue with your connection because you're missing them or you want to be around them, can promote such interaction, or can promote you to react this way in dream time or dream state. So it would be incorrect for me to say that in every single case that means that there is active live energy flowing backwards and forwards between you and you're trying to work things out on the other levels. But sometimes, in other words, sometimes your imagination or your yearning to be around someone, it comes out that way in dream state. But generally speaking, when it's like live time, when it's present here and now, and there's talking taking place, or there's energetics taking place, you're interacting with them on an energetic level. I mean, of course, talking is an energetic level as well, but I mean, if there's any kind of energetics taking place in any other facet in the dream. So you might be, say, for example, merging with one another's energy in some capacity or something like that, just for example. Usually, again, if it's present time, you can sense and you can feel the difference. So you can feel the difference between having a dream about someone where you're essentially reliving things from the past, or you might even have a nightmare and all the feelings and the emotion come up with it. And again, if it's like that for you, have a look at what the feelings and emotions coming up are about. What's underneath them for you? Are you still traumatized by a connection you've had, or are you grieving? Are you missing them? Is there something that you didn't deal with, or you've suppressed and depressed in there? Again, if it's present time and you recognize it's present time, try and get a handle on what you're talking about or what the interaction is. I mean, don't overanalyze it. If you can't get what you're talking about, or almost in a way I could just say, well, there's energy running backwards and forwards, you know, where thought goes, where emotion goes, where vibration goes, energy goes, you know, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. So it could be that going on, and almost more likely is if it's like present time. You might also have, let's say, dreams which you don't recognize the terrain. So you might be in medieval France, for example, with this connection of yours, you know, whatever that connection is. And you think, what the hell is going on here? And again, it's, you know, I have to be balanced about this. Sometimes it can be just your imagination, like it is in our dreams, you know. You can be, because you're thinking about them, it can be your imagination facilitating that. But sometimes it's not, and you're having what is called a bleed through from other lives, other times, memories. And again, look at what's coming up for you. Do you come out of that dream? Do you wake feeling kind of like pretty good and pretty high, and feeling that kind of love, and feeling like even if you can't get your head around what's happened, you can get your heart around it, you know, something's happened, you can feel it energetically? Or do you wake up feeling yuck, you know, really horrible? And then whichever way it goes, again, just have a look at that. I mean, if you're waking up feeling yuck and sort of just not very nice, or upset or distressed, again, have a look at why, and look into kind of like processing that kind of one way or another. Again, you know, whether it's talking it out, writing it down, talking to someone, you know, some kind of therapy, some kind of healing, or, you know, just like going with it, sitting with it for a while and seeing what it's about. Some people will be overjoyed to have interaction with their twin, or their soulmate, or their catalyst, or their conscious relationship. within their dream state, they'll be overjoyed about it. And some people, it's a step further, and there is energetic, intimate interaction sometimes with the person that they are connected to. What I would say is the flip side of that is other people, you would get one camp of people do not like to dream about their connection, especially if that connection is no longer in their life. So they've, let's say, physically on a 3D linear level, cut the person out of their life because of the trauma or the drama or the upset or the marriages or the difference in beliefs or the different cultures and all the different variations or the age differences, and they've come to a point where they've cut them out of their life. Some people are distressed or angry or annoyed that this person that they're connected with is still popping up in their dreams and in their dream state. I'm only smiling at this because I know from experience and personal experience, but also working with people across the world, you can't block off and shut down what your subconscious mind and what your frequency and vibration and what your soul is doing when you're effectively in a trance state or out of body, in a sleep state, on the other dimensions, etherically, etc., etc. If you're interacting with them, there's a reason you're interacting with them. Either you're feeding that energy from their end, they're feeding it from your end, they're feeding it from their end. You're both feeding it because of the connection between you guys. It can be that, it can be unresolved stuff between you guys as well. But it's being fed energetically, and somewhere in you and they are hanging on to something, or they're trying to resolve something, or they're trying to get it, keep it. I was going to say get it secure on the etheric realms and the spiritual realms, but actually genuine bona fide spiritual connections are, it's fait accompli. It is all signed, sealed and delivered on the spiritual realms. Where it kind of goes to shit really is when it's in the physical realms. So if you're interacting in this way on the spiritual realms, that's usually, signed, sealed and delivered. It's trying to make sense of it in your physical realities. So what I would say is, if you kick and scream and punch against dreaming about them and say, oh God, that bastard was in my dream again last night, I can tell you from experience, with anything in this world or anything in life, what you fight against persists. There is a really true saying, what you resist persists. You're just feeding it and throwing coal on the fire, literally. So rather than punch and kick against it, try and come into a place of balance and look at, okay, it's happening, and this is coming in my dream state for a reason. You don't have to overanalyze it, and sometimes you don't even have to understand what the reason is. You just have to accept, on an energetic level, this is being processed in dream state or dream time. Energy is flying backwards and forwards in dream state, whether it makes you angry about that or not, and it's coming up for a reason. It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. Something in you, your energetic connection, but also, your emotions and everything else is still keeping that energy going backwards and forwards as well. And it is very true to say, if you have a bona fide same soul aspect, which means, a bona fide genuine twin flame union, same soul aspect, the connection is what the connection is, and energy, flows backwards and forwards. Things try to get resolved, a resolution tries to be met. The energetics are all in place in the other realms, in the other dimensions, and it's the easiest place, really, to be quite honest. The easiest place to process a lot of that data is in dream state and in dream time. It's far less hard work because the brain doesn't really get in the way like it does in our physical lives. The brain's not complicating it. That's kind of quiet, like it's been anesthetized, so that work can be done and processing can be done. So this is key reasons why they come up in your dream state. So just to reiterate again, or just refresh that. So they come up sometimes because there's stuff to be resolved and it's not being resolved between you two in the daytime, and so it's been resolved on the other realms at night, or by the subconscious mind at night. Let's say spiritually at night, and in the energy bodies at night, it's getting sorted out then. Also, it can be, again, to do with other timelines, what we used to call past lives. There can be bleed throughs in some of these connections, and stuff's coming out then. Of course, some of it can be your own yearning to be with a person, or yearning to communicate with a person, or unresolved fears about that, unresolved trauma about that, still wounding about that, which is leaking out, shall we say, in dream time to be healed. Again, make a note of how you're affected, when you're affected. Even make a note of when these dreams happen, and see if you can see something corresponding to your daily life, or what's going on in you at that time, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and body. Make a note also if it's an actual memory you're having in the dream, or if it's here now, alive, a new kind of thing being formed, or present time, current talking between the two of you, or a current theme between the two of you. Look hard at yourself and ask yourself, is this coming from my aspect? You know, am I feeling this way? And literally projecting it onto my connection, and then dreaming about my connection saying it to me. Or is it, you know, follow your intuition, your gut feeling, or is it coming back from them? Because again, the imagination, that faculty we have, which is extraordinary, can play a great part in this as well, and it's a great tool. But, you know, things can get a little bit entangled there. And also, you know, finally, if you are having, well, I say finally, I'll say two more points again to reiterate on the point of, if you are having dreams and you don't want to dream about them, I mean, that's going to make me burst out laughing. You can't really stop yourself. If it happens, it happens. There's no point kicking and screaming and shouting about it. If it happens, it happens. You can't really, you know, actively control everything that's happened when you're in altered states of awareness, or even out of body, or, you know, interacting on the other dimensions or etherically. I mean, if it happens, it happens. Just accept, okay, it's happening. Look at if you're feeding that, or how you're feeding that in some way as well, and what that end of the seesaw is for you. And finally, if you're interacting in any kind of intimate way with your connection, whatever that connection is to you, doesn't just have to be twin flames. I mean, I'm applying this to twin flames, but this could be soulmates, or, you know, any other kind of connection in that kind of category. I call them horses out the same stable. Look again at if that's your own imagination feeding it, or your own energy feeding it. Are you certain in your own gut feeling and your own intuition and your own heart that you are interacting in that way with them in dream state? Or let's say, are you being led up the garden path by another energy that's intervening, that's almost masquerading as that energy? Now, I don't say that in any way to discredit anybody or to scare anybody. I'm just being balanced. You know, I work with energies, so you see all kinds of energies. The most polarized form, the most negative form, and the most beautiful, glorious, you know, light, angelic form, you know, divine form, you know, quantum form. So it's to look at these different things and see what's happening there. And I think, again, the final thing to say is, look at how you're feeling about having those dreams, like the next day or the next morning. Are you feeling happier? Are you feeling kind of more unified, more balanced? Do you feel like some kind of healing has taken place, or do you feel really pissed off, distressed, angry? Do you feel like something else has taken place there, like some kind of violation to your space there? Look at what, or do you feel really emotional? Look at what kind of things are coming up for you, to deal with it accordingly. So it was your end of it. And of course, you know, it goes without saying, if you're someone that does really need clarity on things like this, or need assistance, there are a few of us out there that are coming from that authentic space that can help you in that way. I'm just one of them. So go to where you would be drawn to get assistance. You know, try and get that clarification from your own gut feeling. Don't be afraid of your own intuition, your own gut feeling. If you want clarification or help or assistance in any way on any of those things, you know, go to the person or the people you're drawn to kind of to get that, to just point you or validate what you already know in your heart of hearts, and, you know, kind of point you in the right direction or validate that with you or for you. Anyway, I hope that helps. I'm not sure the next video I'll bring out. I've already got one in mind, but I'm very drawn to be doing soundings at the moment, so that's something that's very changing within me as well. So I don't know if I'll do a few more of those or not. I got some really great feedback from the last one, actually, and there was some bizarre timing to that video that came out literally hours before the events in America, in Las Vegas. And that video was all about healing, you know, grief, big grief energies and collective grief. So obviously, I didn't consciously know that at the time when I brought it out, but I only brought it out so many hours before. So anyway, thank you as always for watching this channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for donating. And I do hope you guys are well. Can't believe we're into October already. But there you go. This year is going like a rocket, just like we are. I'll love you and leave you. Thank you guys. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.